Alright guys, in class today we talked about scale factor, and we talked about scale factor is just when we either have something that's very, very large and we're trying to scale it down, maybe like a blueprint to fit it on a piece of paper, or we have something really, really small and we're going to scale it up to its actual size in real life. So same thing with a blueprint on a piece of paper. It's really small, but we have to draw it to scale, so when the architects or when the construction workers go to build it, they know the actual measurements. Okay, so a couple different types of scale factor problems that we might have is the first one is you might have a scale drawing. So in this one, it's showing you that the actual height of the house is going to be measured in feet, and the scale picture is drawn in inches. So if it tells us that the scale is 2 inches to 5 feet, and we have to determine what would be the actual height of feet that the house would be in real life. So first thing we're going to do, this is just like any real world proportion. We have to define the proportion. Okay, so we've got our inches on the top and we have our feet on the bottom. Sometimes I use the words scale and actual, so I know that this scale is on the top and I'm looking for the actual measurements on the bottom. And so the first thing we do is they give us the scale. So our first proportion is 2 inches over 5 feet, because that's the scale that is given. Now, also, it tells us that the scale drawing is 8.5 inches. So our inches are on the top, or our scale is on the top. So we're leaving this spot blank right here because that's where our actual measurement in feet is going to go. So then we can solve this just like any proportion. We just cross multiply 5 times 8.5 and we get 42.5. Then we divide out the remaining 2. And when we do that, we get that the actual height of the building is 21.25 feet. All right, so some other types of examples you might get. You might get just some word problems where you have to figure out how to set up the proportion. So let's look at number 1. It says find the actual measurements. A set of landscape plans shows a flower bed that is 6.5 inches wide. The scale of the plans is 1 inch equals 4 feet. What is the width of the actual flower bed? So you can set up to find your proportion. We can say that we're going to put our inches over feet. Again, I like to use the word scale and actual. So this would be our scale, and then feet would be our actual measurements. And we're going to use the first proportion as the scale that they give us. So they say 1 inch is equal to 4 feet. And then we have to find the pieces that we know and the pieces that are missing. So it says the plans say that it is 6.5 inches wide. So 6.5 is going to go at the top of our other proportion. And it says, what is the actual width? So that's our question mark. That's what we're looking for. And again, we can just cross multiply and divide. So we're going to cross multiply 4 times 6.5 and divide out the 1. So 4 times 6.5 gives us 26. Divide out the remaining 1, and we get 26 feet. The actual width of the flower bed is 26 feet. Okay, all right, so let's take a look at number 2. It says in a scale model of a roller coaster, the highest hill has a height of 6 inches. If the actual height of the hill is 210 feet, then what is the scale of the model? So this one is just a little bit different because we only have 2 values. We don't have 3. And we don't have the scale. We're solving for the scale. So again, we're going to set it up. We're going to define our proportion. We're going to say we're putting our inches on the top and we're putting our feet on the bottom. So our inches on the scale is 6 and our actual feet is 210. So we have 6 over 210. If we're looking for the scale, what we're going to do is we're going to simplify. Okay, so to get our scale, we want it in lowest terms, so we're just going to simplify that fraction. So when we do that, we get that 1 inch is equivalent to 35 feet.